What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. Man, interesting day on the Dan Saleo show and listening to Philly 500 and Dan. You know, it's funny how the Eagles are 4-1. Congratulations on being 4-1. I wish my team were 4-1. But when you hear, well, Dan is a shit starter. Dan likes to start some. Let's be clear about that. And he was going at it to try and really provoke a reaction from Philly 500, and he did a good job with it. But he pointed out that the Eagles' offense is basically just about last in all offensive categories. Their offense is the polar opposite of our defense. Yeah. So when you think about how bad our Cowboys defense has been, the Eagles only scored 24 points. Is that the least that anybody scored on us? I think it is. Well, no. The Jets only scored 22. But we don't look at the Jets and say, that's a great offense. Be that as it may, they pointed out that Landon Dickerson is injured, and it's actually comical because he's making excuses for the problems. They're talking about the offensive coordinator. They're talking about injuries to the offensive line. And it's funny because when we talked about Jason Garrett being the head coach, or Scott Linehan being the offensive coordinator, or Kellen Moore, or that Tyron Smith is injured, or the Cowboys' offensive line is decimated, and they got to go out and get guys that are old as shit like Jason Peters, you're just making excuses. Your quarterback just sucks. As the old saying goes, it's not so much fun when the rabbit got the gun, is it? It's amazing how they can make excuses, and he's trying to justify. He said, no, Landon Dickerson is not right. They're not able to block the same way. Yeah, but when I say that, I get told you're just making excuses. Because I can point out that we had 14 penalties against San Francisco. 14, none of which were made by my quarterback. I can point out that my running game was shit. That we literally only rushed like 62 yards against San Francisco. Right? Those are the same kind of things that Philly 500 was saying. Now, the funny thing is everybody's all said, oh my God, Dak's playing out of his mind. Dak is incredible. I don't know that it's Dak is playing out of his mind as much as he's got people around him to work with. I think I'm catching a cold. It keeps sneaking up on me. Here's the thing. If this was last year, I want you to think about this for a second. If this was last year, you could basically take what Javonte Williams is doing right now and cut it in half per carry. Imagine if CeeDee Lamb went out last year, although he had hurt shoulder and he wasn't there in training camp. Our number 2 wide receiver would not be George Pickens. It would be Jalen Tolbert. The same Jalen Tolbert who didn't get a single catch in the game against the Jets last week. Granted, we don't get credit that the highest ranked guy on our offensive line that played this weekend was a 6th-round draft pick. A 6th, a 7th, and 3 undrafted offensive linemen. So when you go through and say, well, it was just the Jets, well, it wasn't even half of the Cowboys' offense that were starters. 4 offensive linemen, Kayvon Turpin, CeeDee Lamb. 6 guys out of 11 that didn't play. The difference of this year and Dak Prescott, he's got a running game. The offensive lineman, shout out to Caden Adams, because you got to look and say Caden Adams is going to be that hot coordinator next year. You got to say that Caden Adams is definitely going to be that hot coordinator to be getting a head coaching gig. For what he's done with the Cowboys offensive linemen that literally are no names, yeah, that guy, we're going to lose him. We're about to lose the coach already. You can guarantee that his name is going to start getting hyped up. As this offense continues to play like this for the rest of the season, yeah, somebody's going to want him as their head coach. But that's what I'm saying is the difference with Dak Prescott is the offensive line is blocking and you have a running game. You know, as was it Jenna Wolf? It said that Dak Prescott needs those guys. Well, right now, take a look at Pat Mahomes. He's not the same guy because he doesn't have the weapons that he had before. And the funniest thing is, you know what's funny? Starting the season, listening to everybody in the NFC, including Giant fans. I remember Cop Pizzle talking about how they were going to mollywop the Cowboys and things, right, before the season. And I just sat there and took it. You had, everybody talking about Jalen Hurts, the best quarterback in the division. Jalen Daniels is the guy and everything else. Hell, Russell Wilson is even better than Dak Prescott. Russell Wilson might be trade bait. Jalen Hurts, pretty much last place in every category except running the football. Jalen Daniels is still magical. But I'm not sure that he's better than Dak Prescott. So, yeah, it's amazing how things change quickly in the NFL. Tomorrow, or should I say, half an hour from now will be tomorrow, that the Eagles will take on the Giants. I pretty much believe that the Eagles will mollywop the Giants. Although, the Giants usually play the Eagles rather tough. That's like a crosstown rival just about. I would love nothing better than to see an upset. The Giants beating the Eagles. Give my man Bad Dog, Cop Pizzle, and the Entertainer something to feel good about because they look pretty bad. And it would definitely help up the Cowboys. So, maybe tomorrow I'll bend the knee to Cop Pizzle. Maybe I'll do that. Bend the knee. Please beat the Eagles. Nah. Not that desperate. Anyway, I can't believe it's already week 6 in the NFL season. The season seems like it takes so long to get here, and then it just flies by. And I'm tired. And so I believe is it Jacksonville? Jacksonville traded with Cleveland, cornerback to cornerback, and a draft pick and a swap of draft picks. And Jerry Jones has kind of teased that we're open for business and waiting for people to call him about some trades. I think what's going to happen is we're going to see a few more leaves fall off the trees first. See if the Cowboys, if the offense really is good, and if their defense is getting a little bit better, see where they stand in the hierarchy of the division. And I think if the Cowboys win a couple of games, they may be interested in making some moves. But we'll have to wait and see. All right, you good people, as always, I appreciate y'all. And remember, tell the people you love how much you love them because you might not get the chance again. And I love you guys. And God willing, we'll all be here tomorrow. Love you. Phew. I'm going to go take a shower and go to bed.